And this is A&B Convos Wrestling Edition.
Welcome everyone to the most must-see wrestling review and live reaction show on YouTube. Welcome to A&B Convos Wrestling Edition. We are not going to keep you. We have got some breaking news, as many of you have probably just heard like we did. WWE has just done some more releases. But we're not talking about backstage people. We're not talking about media people, promo people. We are talking about major WWE superstars.
Shock and awe.
I don't even know what to say right now. Let's just go ahead and get into it because I'm gonna throw up the ticker here. We're Braun Strowman. We're talking Braun Strowman.
Oh my gosh!
We're talking Lana. We are Buddy Murphy, Ruby Riott, who we just saw with Liv Morgan.
But we just saw Lana too.
We just saw Lana with Naomi. These people were just tagged up. But also a very just newly pushed Aleister Black.
How the hell do you release someone that you're in the middle of pushing? It doesn't make any sense. They just try to give Braun a push.
Oh my gosh.
I just don't even, it's almost like they're messing with people's minds. Like, how the hell would you actually go through the trouble of doing everything you did with Aleister and Braun recently just to release them?
First of all, hi everybody. It's good to see everybody here. We don't have a whole lot of time, so we're not going to be able to get to everything. We apologize for that, but just like she said, seriously, with Braun Strowman, he was arguably one of the biggest, not just in stature, but in every way possible, one of the biggest superstars that the WWE has had in recent years. But the bottom line here is this whole ridiculous nonsense he had with Shane recently. He's stupid, he's this, he's that. Didn't pay off. None of that paid off. That nonsense that we saw with Lana and Nia Jax, none of that paid off. She never got the ultimate payoff for that. It was complete insanity.
And none of that was her fault. You put her through a table 500,000 times, and then you don't give her any payback. And we really thought that they were doing that as some kind of payback to her husband. And we thought Aleister was on timeout as some kind of payback to his wife. And now that they're just released out of the blue, I kind of feel like they still were always going to do that. And maybe they were acting like they were pushing them. But I feel like WWE is the most unloyal company. Like, if I was a wrestler, my goal wouldn't even be to be with WWE. I would just go straight for AEW, straight for Impact, because they have no loyalty, and they're going to have a contract clause so you can't go. No, AEW is just like, yes, bring them to me.
Looking at the clock.
Looking at the calendar, marking the days.
Happening here. It's just, we understand we are now coming out of the pandemic, and they're going to be going back on the road. We just saw Braun Strowman and some other superstars do this ridiculous promo for going back on the road. And you know all along that these guys in the back had every plan to release these people. It wasn't just a split-minute decision.
Right.
So the fact is that you guys out here, you left their tears on the line, especially Lana. We've seen her before and how much she has struggled to try to make it. We know she wasn't perfect. We gave her a hard time a little bit.
Yeah.
But she really improved. We really thought finally she was team with Naomi. And now that's done. You have the Riott Squad, which you had this whole big thing with Liv Morgan just to get her back to the Riott Squad. You release one member of the Riott Squad, so it gets down to two. And now the Riott Squad is done.
Right.
And I know Liv Morgan is over here sweating bullets.
Oh my God.
Thinking the clock is ticking on her. And if Braun Strowman.
Well, her man was one of the last ones released too, with Bo Dallas. So you know, released. Liv is like, okay, I might as well just start packing my bags now.
So honestly, there might be a few superstars like Roman Reigns, like AJ Styles, like Randy Orton, who will never get fired. Honestly, these guys are
neither will Tamina or Nia Jax, because they are loyal to certain families. They're not going to do it to Natty. They're not going to redo it because of Vince's friend with their grandparents and their ancestors. There's a few bloodlines that are safe, but anybody outside of that, then you know what? I'm actually glad they released Buddy Murphy because they couldn't figure out what to do with him ever since the whole thing with the Aaliyah thing. And you know, to be honest with you, his talent was just being wasted there. And I actually think Buddy Murphy is good, and I think he'll be well used somewhere else.
Buddy Murphy's excellent. Excellent. You've seen him before he's on the main roster, because again, everybody gets on the main roster from NXT 205 Live. They just dial him down. My man put in some work. But the thing is, if you can release Braun Strowman, nobody's safe. It's like The Walking Dead. Nobody's safe.
Yes, that's exactly what this is like. This
Major
is like
characters
a
aren't supposed
world.
to be killed off, and yet they're killed off in the WWE.
I just can't. My heart hurts right now. I'm so blown away that, you know, I just feel like Braun must not want. I wonder if he just didn't want to be there anymore.
He probably didn't.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the last push they tried to do for him was so badly written that it was embarrassing. And I wonder if he was like, I'm done with this. Like, you done messed me up. You done made me look bad. Y'all can't figure it out. It's not like they let them come up with their own storylines. Maybe he wanted out. Maybe he wants to go to AEW and actually do his own character development.
AEW's now, they're pretty stacked. They got some major players over there. I mean, they can bring them over for sure.
Well, the last major player they announced, World's Strongest Man, is who brought Braun Strowman into WWE. That's who discovered him, because he's also a strongest man, Braun Strowman is. So he discovered him and brought him out. So you think he's not in his ear? Like, come on, man.
I know Tony Khan had commented on Double or Nothing, and he basically said about Mark Henry that he's a good scout. He's got an eye for talent. And so you know full good and well, Tony Khan placed that call to Mark Henry, said, look at here, let's have a conversation without having a conversation, and we'll see these guys in the fall. So honestly, I feel you. Aaliyah, Prince, Carmelina, Martel, Emily, Joshua, King Loyal, Sarah Nets Anime, Prince Malik, Terrence, Jody, everybody. This is some bull squad.
Our people. Is Marcus in there?
I don't see Marcus in here, but honestly, we are longtime fans of WWE. We have been, and we probably always will be. I've said this before. It's kind of like an abusive relationship, kind of like my relationship was with Spring. It was like an abusive relationship. But that's why you have other promotions now. That's why you have WCW. That's why you have New Japan. That's why you have Impact. That's why you have AEW. Because if you're not getting what you want over here, you're going to go over here.
Taekwon said, watch your language.
My bad, Taekwon.
Hey, brother Nero. Yeah, man, everybody is pissed. I mean, it's like, man, we are so up in our feelings right now. Like our feelings are hurt. They're hurt. And not only are they hurt, but I don't know, WWE has just really does not feel like they owe their fans anything, like, or their actual talent. Like, you don't really care what we want. You don't listen to us on your storylines. And then at the end of the day, you're so disloyal to your talent. And Bret Hart actually talked about this before. Like, when you're done, they'll take you out to the back and shoot you.
For sure.
Was basically how their old talent feels. They could bring them out for the Hall of Fame all they want to. But most people who leave the WWE do not leave with good things to say about the WWE.
It's actually a perfect example that you mentioned Bret Hart. Being as big as he was, the fact that you had maybe arguably somebody slightly bigger in Hulk Hogan, who essentially put WWE on the map in the 80s and the 90s, have him be completely erased. We know why. I'm not saying why. I'm saying completely erased. I mean, just like Hogan never existed. This is what WWE is willing to do. So nobody is safe. And it's really disappointing. These people are people that we've enjoyed watching. You know, I'm a fan of the Riott Squad. I'm a fan of Ruby Riott. I'm a fan of Lana. And Aleister Black, this seriously, we know that Lana Vega was supposed to be making her return. We assumed it was going to be WWE. The fact that you now, after all this time, had these cryptic promotions and then bring him out to interfere in the IC title match just to fire him. This is what I say.
It was as if like they were sitting here writing a story for Aleister Black, and then somebody spilt their milk on the page and went, I'll forget it, and fired him because you just spent the last month going through this huge storyline with graphics and books and animations, and then you have him come out just to fire him. Were they messing with his mind or ours? I'm not even sure.
And this is the thing with WWE. We said it so many times. They start a storyline just to end it, like it never existed.
Yeah, that's like just going to go away.
Happened. So honestly, how are we supposed to? We're gonna post another video, and we did this before in one of our previous videos. I'm gonna do it again. Just a smidge when you had all the McMahons and Triple H who came out to the ring a few years back who said, we're not doing a very good job for you all. We know the ratings are tanking. We're not listening to you. We're going to give this back to you, the fans. And that lasted all of a minute. 1 minute. Because once again, Vince McMahon, it starts from the very top and comes down. They honestly think they know what's best for business when it comes to the fans. And the fans are the ones who are your employer. Okay? Right. If you don't see the ratings, guess what? It's because of us. It's not because of all the wrestlers not watching your show. It's not because the McMahons aren't watching your show. It's because we are not watching your show.
Exactly.
So the fact is you don't know what's best for business. The fact is you have literally your $1 billion company. You can afford to have these people on your team. And if it's an issue with contracting too much money, then talk to them, negotiate. I'm pretty sure they'd be willing to work with you if you gave them some better storylines. But you don't. You give them crap, and you give them no reason to want to stay. And guess what? AEW and Tony Khan are just going, come on home. Impact Wrestling, come on home. Now they're doing cross promotions. Come on home.
And the reason they're doing so well at AEW, I'm just going to close my feeling with this. The reason why they're doing so well with AEW, from what I understand, from listening to Jericho, from listening to Cody, from listening to the people who are behind the scenes at AEW, is because the superstars, when they're invited there, are invited there. Bring us your ideas and bring us your character for yourself. A writing team did not put together the inner circle. Jericho put together the inner circle. And the people come in and they're like, this is who I see myself as. This is how I want to represent myself in the ring. This is a storyline that I think I have. And because they're in this, their line, they're invested in it. And it's received by us as a true story. We're writing it. WWE is constantly trying to sell us stuff that people are just like, we're not buying this. No. And we finally start getting on board with Aleister Black, and then you just throw it to the shredder like nothing happened?
Nothing. So we were doing a This Week in Wrestling about this. We just wanted to go ahead and come to you. We have this breaking news. We don't know if there'll be more releases. We know that Wednesdays are not a good day for superstars in the WWE, and that's a real shame. So again, we apologize we weren't able to get to all the individual comments because this is just something that we just had to get out here real quick. We appreciate and love everybody so much. We will be dropping some videos today. We've got some raw, interestingly enough, we have some raw reactions. We have a 100 Greatest Moments Volume 10 that'll also be dropping. So
and we may be back because the releases may not be done from what we understand. So hopefully there's no other big names like this, but we may be back with more releases later.
Yeah, Dro, we know that, interestingly enough, that Braun Strowman has commented on his body dysmorphia issues, which is one of the reasons why he started down. But we don't know if that's the exact reason why he was released. There's all kinds of reasons for it, but the bottom line is it sucks.
Well, Alexa Bliss has talked about the fact that she struggled with bulimia and anorexia, and they haven't just released her. So I don't know if they release you because you struggle with something, but whatever it is, it's messed up. We feel some type of way, people. So
please drop a comment on this. Drop a comment on the other videos that we're going to be releasing today. And like she said, we may be back if they do some more releases. Thank you so much for joining us for this breaking news. We've got to go. that's it. Please come back to watch A&B Convos Wrestling Edition. We love and respect everybody. Again, we apologize for not being able to get to everybody, but we will definitely be catching you all in the comments.
Yes.
You guys take care, and please join this conversation because, again, this is some
Boom! Bull squat.